Hi guys, first and foremost, thank you very much for buying the video. I appreciate it more than you will ever know. Right, so today we're going to be cutting my friend George. He is a light coloured hair. He's going to have a soft crop. He's going to completely skip guard the sides with a little bit of refining, which this time we go into so much detail about. Now, I'm going to teach you with this as well how to use a centre profile as a super safety blanket for yourselves. Now, using the elevation, the foundation and all of the clipper work I've got in here today for you is going to absolutely change your life if you implement it into your work. So it's going to speed up your haircuts. It's going to also cut your haircutting time down, because there's no going back and refining yourself, apart from a little bit on the side, obviously. And also we have the full beard tutorial. So this has actually just been added to this video. I hope you enjoy. This is everything you need to know about fading a beard, skip guarding, and how to save yourself time. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoy. Right, so we're going to start off by putting in your foundation, and we're going to go from crown to recession. And just like that, guys, it's a nice clean section. So what we do, we go from crown to recession. As you get to the end point, with your hair still attached to the comb, you pull the comb this way, pull your finger the opposite way, and it creates an opening, and then the section is perfect, and you just go back around and comb one side one way and the other side the other way, and you got a lovely nice clean section. Repeat this on the other side. Sorry guys, just making sure the camera, his hand is still in frame. From the crown to recession. As you can see, I've pulled my finger slightly away from it, my thumb slightly away from it, and then I know then to pull this side down, and that side the opposite way. And then you've got a nice clean section, both ways. So as we did previously, we're going to be starting at the back, pulling down, retaining tension in the hair. I'm going to pull down, as I want his crown to be nice and heavy, as previously showed. And as your fingers tack to the head at the bottom, knuckles to the head, so this gives you more leeway when you come up and through the foundation with your clipper work. That's going to already do the blend for you. When you push your 2.5 through, or your 3 up and through, the blend's going to be done for you. Obviously you'll have to go back and refine. So knuckles tight to the head, nice clean cuts. Repeating the next process on the next cut. So you got your guide, you got your short bit from the previous cut, you got a long bit in the middle. As I like to keep the weight in the corners, so I'm not going to go right round tight to the head. I'm going to pull my fingers slightly off this time, so my fingers are slightly off here, knuckles are tight here. And there we go. As you can see, got the guideline that I previously cut, the old cut, and a long bit in the middle. Previous cut, let's go straight through. Same again. Knuckles are tight to the head this time though, completely tight. Same again. Angling the knuckles off the head slightly as you get to the front. There you have the left side of the head foundation done. Repeat the process, the other side. Same principle, you got the cut that you've done before, the old cut, so you got the cut you just previously done just now, and you got the old cut and you got the long bit in the middle. So you need to make those match up, take the long bit off through the middle. Exactly the same again. I want the corners to be heavier. this knuckle to the head, this knuckle off. So I'm going to give you that nice square shape at the back when styling. And following it through as you did in the other side. Knuckles off as you come to the front. Now we're going to go straight down the centre to create your elevation line. The elevation line is going to come to your foundation here at the back. Now your foundation line is what creates the shape. So you can either create a round shape, or you can create a nice square shape, or you can create an undercut. So I'm going to go for, as I do with most of my clients, I'm going to create a nice masculine square shape. And how I do that is by pulling the elevation line to the foundation. So it's not going past the foundation line or above it, it is to it. Stand in the back. This keeps a nice square shape. Same again to the ear. And as I get to the fringe, as I get past the ear, I start to angle it out, away from the head. What this does is maintain the weight and the length of the fringe at the front of the cut. And as you can see, the back of the blend's done. Nice and square still, coming through. And we'll have you as you get to the front. Same principle either side. To the foundation. Exactly the same again. To the ear. As you get past the ear, you're angling away from the head to create that length on the fringe. Now we're going to comb this forward. Start to profile it. Starting from the front. Now, as you know, line theory, if I was to take this straight up and cut it square, like I'm going to the rest of the back, now that would take too much weight from behind the fringe and would leave a gap. So I need to have to box it off to make it look thick again. So how we're going to counteract that is you're going to pull the fringe out, like so. And then come back, pull halfway through, and you got your guide. So you have your guide, the front, and the back. So I'm going to keep a nice square coming through, keep them all the same length, all the same weight coming through. This is going to create a safety blanket for you guys. It's all about creating a safety blanket. The safer you are, the less mistakes you will make the first time round, so there's less rectifying and refining at the end. Pulling it through to the crown. Taking that little corner off so there's not too much weight at the crown. Pulling it back up to double check. Boom. And now, that's all you got to do. So I've taken it from left to right, straight across, and pull it back up. As you pull it back up, you got your guide here, and you got the back here, the elevation line here. So through the middle, you create a safety blanket. So you got your already cut there, you just take the long bit off in the middle and you know it's going to be bang on. So as you can see, sectioning, pulling back a little bit, up we go, take that long bit off from the middle. My fingers are completely square, so we know that we're not touching any weight on the sides. So when it comes to styling, we can have loads of weight here to play with. Same again, keep it going forward, point cutting through to make sure there's no scissor marks. You can pull through it again, pull it back on yourself if you want. You create the scissor marks, to get rid of the scissor marks to make sure there's none there, sorry. And as you get to the front, I've been pulling back in the previous cuts. Pull back slightly, and then come all forward, section it again, and pull forward. So this is going to maintain the weight towards the fringe. So as you can see, you've got your previous cut, so you've got your centre profile cut, your elevation line, that cut, and take the long bit off through the middle. And just repeat that until the whole haircut is done. Pulling back, coming forward, same section, pulling forward. Elevation line, centre profile line, same again. But this one is just pull completely forward first to make sure it matches, and pull it up and back. You can go back through it if you'd like, just to make sure that there's no errors, as we are only human. Same again, you create your profile line again, go straight back down the middle, comb that to the side, to the opposite side. So you've still obviously you always got your guideline here, so you've obviously always got your safety blanket coming through. Pull back, guideline, centre profile line, elevation line. Exactly the same as the other side. Pulling back, pulling back, centre profile line, elevation line. Making sure your fingers are nice and square still, so you're keeping the weight through the channels. Pull back, cross-examine, double check yourself. Same again. And now we start to pull forward. So you pull back to align it, and we pull forward. Centre profile, elevation, long bit, gone. Put it back. Taking the stragglers off, coming forward. This just saves refining at the end, guys. Coming through, exactly the same again. And this is how you create a nice soft crop. And as you can see, nice soft crop. Textured fringe. So I use my mirror. The mirror is the most important tool as far as I'm concerned. It doesn't lie. Obviously you've got some stragglers there. Come back through, take the stragglers off. you have it, guys. Nice soft textured crop on top. If you'd like to, run the razor through the top to take some weight, extra weight out, or the thinner scissors, whichever ones you use. I'm not going to with George because I did it previous cut and his hair isn't actually too thick, so I like the way it's going to sit like this. So I'm going to leave the hair wet and dry naturally. As you can see, you've got your foundation line coming straight through. We're going to go straight up and through that. Same on the other side. This is going to help you create your squareness, square shape. So, and it's going to help with when it's nice and square, it's going to help with the regrowth. So therefore it's not going to grow out like this. So therefore you're creating longevity for your client, and that is what retains your client. It's nice, George does come to me every week normally, but it is nice for a client to be able to wait those extra 2 to 3 weeks and still have a tidy shaped head. Nobody likes to have a pineapple head. So as I said, I'm going to leave the hairs dry naturally this time. And I'm going to go straight through the foundation. 2 on, 2 open, 2.5, straight up and through the foundation. I'm going to show it slowly. This is my motion, up and through. Up and through. So I'm tight on the head at the bottom. As I get to the top, I'm coming off slightly. I'm not creating a C-cup. I'm not overcooking it. I'm doing nice and slow for you guys to see my motion. Now the 2 opens done, drop it down to a 2, just clean up underneath. Going up through the 2.5 but not through the foundation. Same on the back, straight up through the foundation. Put your comb there if you need to keep the hair above it intact, in place. Drop down to a 2. Same principle, you're going up and through the 2.5 but not up through the foundation. Same again this side. I'm going to use my comb just to show you how I use it as a guide. So I know that when I come up and off, it's not going to go to the comb, it's going to come up and skim past those hairs. It's going to make it a lot easier for the blend later on. As you can see, I'm going nowhere near the comb. But it's just creating a guide, making sure the hair underneath the comb and above the clipper doesn't move when the clipper comes near it. Just going up and through it. Now I'm dropping down to a 2. Same again, not going through through the 2.5. Just going, going through the 2.5 but not through the foundation. Apologies. As you can see, squareness is there. There's a little bit of a lip. Then we go back and refine that at the end to make sure that we don't take too much off. Put my zero line in with my low pros. Nice and high, because we are skip guarding, remember, so we're going to go a bit higher than I normally would if I was fading any other way. As we get to the back, dropping it down, so I'm up the octuple bone here where I want to be, and I'm going to drop it straight down to the back of the ear. And what this does is give me another guide, so when I come in from the right hand side of the head, make sure that it's nice and safe, because if I carry this wrong the right way around, I might end up way too high up here somewhere or way too low, and then I got to rectify it all anyway. So at least by doing this, I have a nice guideline to meet, so my eye knows that that is where I need to be coming to. Nice and high again. And then that should be perfect. You can see on the camera, matched up straight away. I'm just going to go straight up to the line I just done. Nice, so clean it up with the zero underneath, making sure it's lovely and clean. So it's clean now, it means there's no refining later on. Everything you do, try and get it as clean as you can the first time round, so you don't have to go around and faff with it. This will also speed your haircut up. Double check the depth of the haircut, of your zero line in the mirror. Most important tool. So it's a bit lower this side. I know the back is sound, so all I got to do is heighten the front part. Perfect. Now I'm going to use my barberless FXs, skeletons, a graphite blade. So I will be showing you how to fade the beard as well. So I'm going to be doing a low fade in George's beard. I'm going to start with the skeletons, the bottom of the lobe. Nice and clean, even a slight line, not going straight up to the zero with them, as you don't want to do that because we'll create another line. You'll have to take the fade higher. You're able to get rid of it with a zero. Repeating this process all the way around. Exactly the same as the other side, bottom of the lobe. Not going right up to the line, remember, as we are going to use a different tool to get rid of the skeleton line and match it into the zero. But before we do that, I'm going to skin it. Now I use a Braun Series 9 as for my foilers. So I will leave this part here. I won't go right down to the skeleton line with my beard. Beard line's there. I'm going to go just above it with a singular head to make sure there's no definite line there from the foilers. And I'm going to use a double, use both heads in between that to make sure that is silky smooth there, done. single head as I get to the top. Again, to make sure that there isn't a foiler line there. I get asked all the time, are these worth it? Are the series line worth it? To be fair, I had these on sale from Boots and they were £140. So yes, at that price they 100% are. I don't know if I would pay £500 for them, but saying that, mind, I haven't used any of the foiler. Every time I have used one, sorry, it's gone, I don't like them. This is just so smooth, the client can't even feel it on their head. So, I don't know. Would I pay £500 for them? If obviously I'm self-employed, I got my own business, so yeah, I probably would. If I was on the books and my boss wasn't paying, absolutely not. Again, circular motions at the bottom, both heads. Just to make sure you get every single hair, and then as you get to the top, single head again, just to make sure there's no foiler line here. Repeat as you go around. Circular motions, single head as you get to the top. As you can see, I'm only using the one blade. Get it lovely, nice and clean, nice and fresh. Using it again, singular around the head, around the ear, singular at the bottom. Double to the middle. As I get to the top, I'm lifting so it's only one head touching, so there's no foiler line. Nice, silky smooth, moving soft. Now after I've used that, I go to my Andis Slimline Pros, and this is a clean, the skeleton lineup and the zero. So this is longer than the skeleton, shorter than the zero. So that just connects that line in perfect. This is the most important part of the fade. Remember now guys, the reason why I'm showing you the full skip guarding tutorial on Georgie is because his hair is nice and light. So I recommend that you do that when you do first try a skip guarding haircut, skip guarding on the haircut. Sorry, I couldn't get my words out then. So when you do actually use the skip guarding on your first client, make sure he's either got a buzz cut or his hair is nice and light. If you can, both. Because then you can't, there's not too much refining and you can still see the shape, and then progress darker, 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 darker until you get the full technique correct. But as I'm using the slim lines now, I'm going up past the skeleton but not into the zero line. This is the most important part of the fade, because if you start with lines in the fade, it's going to be hard to see where the lines are coming from as you progress through the fade. Repeat this all the way around. So, now then, this is where the magic happens. So, I'm going to show you slowly. I'm going to put a number 3 on my clipper just to show you the motion I'm going to be using. So, I'm going to start below the zero line with the clipper, and I'm going to come straight up and straight off. But as I'm coming to here, as I get past the zero line and halfway up through the fade, I'm going to be coming off the head and gliding through. So I'm going to be hardly touching the hair above. So any of this section I'm going to be hardly touching. I won't be touching it, but flicking it through. So that's going to be my motion, up and through, up and through, up and through, up and through, up and through. And obviously I'm going to go a lot faster pace. I will do the first few strokes slow so you can watch my motion, and I will do the first few strokes as I click through on each motion just so you can see it. So starting here, up, 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 cutting, heavy, 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 light. Low, 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 heavy, 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 heavy. Other way wrong, sorry, other way wrong. Heavy, 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 light, 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 light. Heavy, 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 light, 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 and up and through. As you can see, none of that has moved. I haven't touched any of this. See my motion? And now, if I was going to do it on a day-to-day, as I was normally cutting George, as he was sitting in my chair as a client, so that's the speed I would normally go. Fully closed, tight to here underneath, loose as I get to the zero. And then do a half one, half open. Repeat the process right way around, come back through the refine. Sorry, tell a lie there. I do one side and then I go and do the other side and then I finish off the back. So it's not the same as the two or anything like that. Sorry, I don't know why I was waffling on then, but I do the run side and I do the other side. As I showed you earlier, below the zero, I'm literally skimming the foundation on the 2.5 even. Half closed. Fully closed. Fade done. Now we'll do the back. Now just connect them both through. Same motion. Half closed. Fully closed. Let's knock that zero line out. It's 50-50 motion with the zero, so I'm 50% below it, 50% above it. So the blade is just like so. There you have it, guys. The fade is done. If you need to go back and refine, go back and refine. So I will actually go back through with a 2 to make sure that the lip is gone. Maybe use a bit of scissor, a clipper or a comb, which I will do in front of you now, guys, so you can actually see what I'm doing. Still using the low pros, open, maintaining the shape using your mirror. The mirror is the most important tool as far as I'm concerned, because it does not lie. Closed again. Tip of a comb with 2, angling it in and out. Making sure that shape is nice and neat. And repeat on the other side using the mirror, so I'll do it and then I'll check and then I'll do it and then I'll check. Just to show you guys how much I do actually use the mirror. If the tool doesn't start refining for you, or if it stops refining, sorry, and not hitting those dark patches, then just drop it down. Drop it down to a 1.5 guard. Open, let's come through again. If that's not taking anything off, drop it down. It's as easy as that, guys. You've got your process there. You know what numbers are what. And boom. Actually, a little bit more. Drop it down to my 1 guard. Open. Just to get rid of it. There's a little bit of a lump in the shape. It's not perfectly square. There you have it, the fade's done. As promised, I'm going to show you how to fade a beard, or how I fade the beard. As promised. So I start off using my comb and bare blade. So I actually do fade with the client sat up in the chair. Especially these bits, especially the side bits, because I know it matches the fade. That's just how I do it. You can pop this client fully back if you'd like, but I just find I can use the mirror better with it. So I've done my skeletons, I'm skinned above, that's a part of the fade, and now on to fading down to the beard. So it's the same principle, but all reversed. So I will go in, 0.5 guard. Half open, 0. Wiggle it, wiggle it, wiggle it, wiggle it, wiggle it through using the corner of the blade, get rid of those lines. Now after I've done my 0.5, I go to a 2. Go to a 2, open. Now this, because George doesn't have anything off the front, so this is all freehand from here. So I take my 2, open, and skim through the hair here, and I touch the cheek. As you can see, that you're skimming through, skimming through, skimming through, skimming through, angle the client's head back a little bit, skimming through, skimming through. Fully closed, and again skim it in. As you can see, I'm only using the corner of my blade when I'm doing it this way. Now I will drop down to 1 guard. Same principle, but I don't start as deep. I'll only start from about here with the skimming. Coming up and through. As you can see, that part of the beard is still already starting to fade. So I'll drop down the half close, same principle again. Skimming through. Same process. Corner of the blade up and through. Pop it down to a 1. And as you can see, my motion is only 50-50. So what I do here, the client is still upright, but I've got the headrest there to relax all the muscles in his neck, so it makes sure he's not uncomfortable. So then, how I create this line here, I always go off the crown. If they're bald, then obviously I defer it a different way. But I always go off the crown because it deceives the eye of a straight line and it makes the haircut look 10 times sharper. So when the crown is up and nice and square, that line is going to be coming straight through. So I always do this first, sort the underneath out. Imagine the line being there, coming through. Turn up a little bit, George. Following the line with my clipper head, make sure the clipper head is always on that angle, because if you angle it like that, it's not going to work. If you angle it, you know what I'm saying. Getting that line perfect. Now you got your line, you can work out where all the dark patches are on the beard and get rid of all the stragglers, etc, etc. So using a clipper or a comb, and pop your head this way so the camera can see exactly what I'm doing. So as you can see, the darker patches here I'm just going to eliminate by going in with the comb, out. Making sure I'm not taking too much off. I'd rather take too little and have to go back and do it again and take everything else shorter. Because if it's one thing a man loves more than his hair, it's his beard. So as you can see with my angles, it's tight here because that's where the fade begins. Angling out and angling it even more out because it's the length of the front. So as you can see, taking hair bit by bit, bit by bit, bit by bit. Bringing the clipper down so no hair splits up and hits the client in the eyes. Or you can put the towel over the client's eyes if you'd like. Same principle underneath. The fade starts here, angle it out this way. So it's off the chin here. There you have it, no more dark patches, it's all nice and smooth. Take some of the stragglers off underneath, as there always will be some. Nice and gently clearing underneath. With the pores, you do not want to catch an open pore with these bad boys. So there you have it, that's one side of the beard faded. Whilst we're on this side, I may as well shape this side up as well. So doing the shape up, I don't make myself blind. So what I mean by that is, when I'm doing the shape up, I always have the back end of the blade facing me. Because if I'm like this, shaping up, I can't see what's underneath. So therefore I'm blind. Creating the C. Using the back end of my clipper. Using my tash as a guide. I don't like a beard too low on the cheeks, so keeping the tash as a guide. Using the back end of the clipper for the C-cup. Going back and refining it. If you see any hairs that are out of place, go back and refine it. There you have it. The other side. I will sit the client completely back up to redo the tash at the end to make sure that nothing goes in his eyes and I can fully see it in the mirror. So now on to the other side. So repeating exactly the same process on the other side. I do apologise guys, you couldn't see the shape up on this side at the top of the shape up on the recession because obviously it wasn't in camera. So this time I will show you this side. I do apologise. Same principle, exactly the same process. Using my YS Park comb, narrow end. So as you can see, done the skin into the fade, done my skeleton line, 0.5, so that's an open blade. Half open. Fully closed. Creating that little gap, about ½ inch. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Wiggling it through just to get rid of that line. Going back to my 2.5, 2 open. Again, skimming. Skimming straight through at the bottom. As you can see, hardly touching the skin here. Skimming through down to a 2, fully closed. Down to a 1, guard open. Again, just skimming through, skimming through. If you see any dark patches, get rid. Half open, sorry. Or half closed, however you look at it, I say both. Fully closed. Back to an open blade, if needs be. Didn't need to on the other side. If needs be, needs must, as they say. And now exactly the same process again. I'm going to pop the head rest back up, keeping the client upright, just relieving some of the tension of his neck. Here's my mini. I'll be coming this way with the comb this time. I'm coming up against, but I will still be going that way. As you can see, tight, off. Making sure it all sits in. Sometimes it's the minutest part amount being taken off. It makes a massive difference in the colour of the fade. Just showing you a slightly different way of doing it this way. So obviously this side I haven't done this first. I've gone straight in. And this is where it all takes place at the end. So the impact of the whole fade is in the line here. That way, that side I gave you a guide to go off. This side I haven't. So that's the safer side to do. Put the line in first because you have a guide already naturally to go off. And this one you don't. So you could end up taking the fade too low at the bottom. You could end up taking it too high here because you haven't given yourself a guide here. It's all about guides and safety blankets, the same as I've done the center profile on the top, same with the guideline on the bottom. Chin up a little bit, George. So now again, I'm going to go straight from, oh sorry George, I'm going to go straight from the crown, straight under to the neck. Hopefully it will match up perfectly, you won't have to do too much refining, but don't worry if it doesn't, it happens to us all. I very rarely get a beard bang on first time, especially with the shape up underneath. Unless it's like a one because there's no hair to hide, no hair to not see it. Following the line of the crown, combing all the hair down. Making sure the angle is right on the blade. So you shouldn't have to refine too much underneath because you've already done it the other side. So taking all the stragglers off. Chin up again, Georgie, for me. Thank you. So coming from underneath, taking the stragglers off. If you notice, I'm using my finger against his throat as a guide. So knowing, obviously if it's longer beard you have to be freehand, but whilst you can use a safety blanket, use it. Your finger is there to maintain steadiness in your hand. So use it. Again, using my arm this time. So I'm not using my fingers, I'm using my arm. Using the mirror, oh yes, bang on. Using the mirror to double check the line. Don't ever look at it and try and guide it. You always use a mirror because a mirror doesn't lie. Two stragglers. As you can see, George's beard hair here, chin hair, is perfect. This is the hardest part of the beard to grow because this always takes longer, to, obviously because it needs to grow longer than what the hair does under here and the chin. So maintaining this whilst it's growing out is the hardest part of growing a beard out. Some people like to take it too short, but this is the main part that creates the shape of the beard. So remember that, guys. Again, finger. Just taking all the stragglers off now. Keep on combing as well. Remember, they're paying for a service, guys. You just don't want to just go over it once, because you don't know what you're going to miss. There might be longer hairs that you haven't seen because you haven't combed it through enough, or you haven't refined it enough, or you haven't gone through with the comb enough to get those hairs standing on edge. Nice and gentle. Now I do apologise about the other side, so I'll show you the shape up on this side. Let's double check it is in frame. Yeah, it is. So, as I was saying, whenever I shape up, I do not make myself blind. What I mean by that is I always have the blade backwards to the hair. So as I'm coming this way, I know exactly where I'm taking the shape up to. If I was going this way, I can't see because obviously the clipper's in the way. So you could end up taking the shape way too far back. And no one likes that. Especially when it's going out. Creating that C motion with the back of the blade. And switch this light off. It's too much light, but you can't see the hair. Better. I don't know if you could notice that on the camera, but creating a C. Right way around, using the tash as a guide. So it's okay to hide underneath because I know the guide. And then you push up. Because I needed the guide on this side. If I was like this, I couldn't see the hair I needed to take off. And now I've got my guide, I'm okay. Going back on the other side just to double check to make sure there's no longer hairs underneath, which there is. Like I said, they're paying for a service, so you've got to go back and double check. You don't want your client to go home and their partner or their mother or their brother or sister or whatever, wherever they're going home to, goes, ah, there's some long bits in your beard or some long bits in your hair. You always double check your work, guys. It takes 2 seconds most of the time, a couple of seconds just to double check, running a comb through it. But it can mean a massive difference to your client, whether you keep that client or not. Consistency builds you a good reputation. There we are. It's your faded beard. I will cut through it in dry now, and then I will go and refine the tash. As his head's back anyway, I'll do the shape up now. So I never use a blade under here unless I'm having a facial, because for me the hair is just too thick under here, and they tend to get a rash, a barber rash. So it's where they have pores open for longer and the dirt gets in and they become red spots. So this is why I never do under here unless I'm having a full hot towel shave or a facial. Facial preferred. Video for that is coming out as well soon. So now, comb. Pulling against the hair. Pulling your cheek up to get that tension in the skin. the cheek, obviously avoiding the eye, so you're angling it out again, making sure all the hair is taken from underneath. I shape up most of my clients' eyebrows for free because it's only with the razor and it's not with the threading. If I was threading, obviously I'd be charging, but I just find this is another nice little touch that the person to go home to notices. Client retention means the client's going to come back. If people are giving them compliments on their hair and the extra services they've had for nothing, then they're going to be coming back. Like offering teas or coffees. Oh, sorry, I'm rambling on now. The back of the shape up, same principle as the other side. Comb the hair out of the way. Nice and gentle strokes across. Remembering how sharp the cut tool actually is. Creating that C. Using the back of the blade. Obviously everybody uses the cut tool differently as well. I just like using the back of the blade around here. I don't like using the cut tool like that. I can use it like that, but I don't like to. Pulling the skin tight again. And I find that when you're using the cut tool on dry skin, I find it takes a slight layer of skin off and leaves that little white line. Looks amazing in photos. Just looks cool. And I find it doesn't blind me. So if I have jelly or whatever, I have to wipe it off to see if the line's correct anyway. So I may as well just do it dry. Using the mirror again, most important tool. This side's a little bit higher. The tad right in the corner. Sometimes with the beard shape up, it's going to be literally one hair. So now I've done that. That is your beard done. So all you got to do, that's all that's left to do, is refine the tash. Let's have a push, face him towards you for. Pull the head guard up. Head guard, headrest. Again. These are a bit noisy, you know. Turn the camera for you. Now with the tash, comb in, straight to the nose, angling it out a little bit so you don't want, because you don't want to take it right tight to the nose. Trickle it down. As you can see, there's some overhang on the lip. I follow the lip like this, and back on itself. I find if I stab it like this, I find I sometimes take it too high. That's just my preference. I prefer this way. You might prefer doing it a different way. Going back through to make sure all the stragglers are gone. There's no actual long bits in there as well. Getting right in the corner of the lip as well. So he's not like that all day. Same on the other side. Through the middle. That's quite good. Sorry, that's ticklish. Again, make sure it's right tight in the corner. Boom. And for underneath, just obviously pull it down. Make sure you're cleaning up everywhere. If you want to use the foilers, Georgie doesn't actually like the foilers anyway. So but yeah, use the foilers or whatever, clean up underneath the neck. Go right round, clean the neck up, make sure you take the gown off, boom. Beard done. Right, so now on the styling, as you can see, George doesn't tend to wear product in his hair at all, really. Not even if he goes out for food, if he's going out on a piss, he doesn't put anything in it. So, but as you can see, that sits lovely, naturally. The fringe, naturally, naturally got that kink in it. The weight on the sides is perfect. Nice square masculine shape, mixed matched into the faded beard. You can get away with that wearing product in this kind of haircut, that's why I love a soft crop. Now, I will style it though for you guys. So I'm going to wet it down and show you how I create the shape on behind. Now then create it nice and square using a brush, Joshua P brush actually. It's the best I've ever used, class. I'm not just saying that because I'm an affiliate, and that's the gospel truth. So now I've wet it back down. Some Ruger salt spray. Rub it in. And some Ruger Essentials. This is like a matte clay. Gives it a nice matte effect. This is just to give it a grip when the hair is wet and it styles in. You don't need to add much product afterwards, and I find this is great for creating shape when you put the product in before you dry it. In wet hair, rub it in. Now, using my nozzle, air direction nozzle, my Joshua P brush, I'm going to show you how to create a perfectly square shape here with a bit more overhang coming up and through, creating that elevated square look. First of all, high speed, high heat, they're all on, as you can see. I'm going to start from the crown, figure out where it wants to go. And then as I get to the sides here, literally it's going to come up and through, brush up and through, creating that nice square look. As you can see already, it's starting to take shape now. To create elevation in the hair, you need to put it completely up against the sun. Maintaining that fringe, that nice soft crop texture coming through. So you've already created your shape now, as you can see, it's lovely and square there. So now you nip the hair on top into where you want it to go. I want mine to be direct in front, so it looks like it's got quite a natural but creative edge to it. That's the image I'm going for. Now, So again, there, as you can see, and obviously when I add more product into now, I'll section these off with my fingers to give it that creative edge, bring it around. But the fringe is just going to be nice, plain simple. So as you look at it straight on, it's going to be nice and soft, subtle. But as you turn down to the sides like that, a nice square edge, coming up through, very creative. Repeat that process right around. Pulling it up, pushing it up, wrapping it around, and backing itself. This is what I mean by you pulling the elevation to the foundation. This is what creates this shape then. So therefore it maintains a squareness, and if you take the elevation more around, you would not be able to get that shape at all, because this wouldn't be here. Yeah. I'm just going to place my diffuser on, so I can continue with the elevation at the back. So this is by the scrunching motion. Now I'm going to blow cold air through it, so it sets it a little bit. Cooling the diffuser down. Now this, blowing cold air through it helps it set. So when you add product, one, the product doesn't go greasy. And two, the hair's already preset because the cuticles are closed. So now we've got the texture and everything how I want it to look, the shape. So I'm going to put a bit more essential on. Through my tips of my fingers. Run it through. So there you have it. That is the shape. That is a creative soft crop. Completely square in the sides. A naturally finished fringe with a bit of creative texture going through the top. Ready from straight from the crown. Squareness from the back. Falling forward. Thank you very much guys for watching. That is my fast fade soft crop tutorial. I appreciate every single last one of you. You do not realise how much this means to me that you've bought my video and sharing the love. I hope you've learned a thing or two. If you haven't, or you've got any questions about anything I've displayed today, please do not hesitate to get in touch. Peace, love, see you on the other video. Boom. Bye. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. Like I said at the start, you do not realise how much I appreciate you purchasing this. Not only you supporting me, but you're giving me the motivation to not only watch you grow and what you learn, but it's also giving me more motivation to create more videos and to push out some knowledge of mine, how I actually cut hair on a day-to-day basis. So for that guys, I fucking love you. Mwah. I appreciate you more than you will ever know. See you in the future.